You ever stop and wonder, how I going to get what I want, boy? Think about yesterday, even today. Think about last week, some years ago. At a lot of significant points in time in our lives, in our daily routine, we stop and we think about, well, how am I going to get this thing I want? How am I going to achieve this goal that I have? And let me tell you, right, this is done through strategic communications. It's called persuasion. With that said, I am going to introduce myself. I am Kathy Ann. Welcome to TED Talk with Kathy. This is season 1, episode 1. We're going to start this thing off with a bang. We are going to talk about one of the most controversial topics that I have out here. How are you going to get what it is I want? I'm going to tell you how to get what it is you want today. So stop what you're doing, have a seat, get that Starbucks coffee. It is cold outside today, it is raining, and let us sit and have a conversation about persuasion. Strategic communication, that is. And here says you could use this for anything. That assignment that you have that you want to convince your lecturer to extend the deadline for, because this semester it was just the most difficult semester ever and you're just not having it anymore. You could use this for that party that you want to convince your parents or your significant other to allow you to go, even though you have other responsibilities to do. And you can even use this for that job you're trying to figure out, well, how do I convince my boss to give me this promotion, boy? Like, how do I convince my boss that I have reached my max in the position that I am in currently, and show him or her how I am going to be super beneficial to the company that I am working for, that you're working for, in this new role that happen to be paying more. You could use this to get that boy or that girl that you see walking on the street and you're like, well, I feel I want this person to be my boyfriend or my girlfriend, you know? How do I get them to pay me any mind? How do I get them to say yes to me? Sometimes it's simple, sometimes it's challenging, but here's what P.T. Burnham said, that there's a sucker born every minute. So if that sucker happens to be your boss, or that sucker happens to be the boy or the girl that you like, that you're trying to convince to like you back, trust and believe, by using these simple steps, you can most definitely achieve that goal that you want to achieve. Anything is possible. And let me tell you, persuasion normally have this negative connotation to it. Some people might see it as manipulation, but as professional communications officers, professional communications students, we are not manipulating anybody for the bad. It is always for the good. It's always going to, benefit them too. It's always about what they can get out of it as well. When you're delving into persuasion, the first thing you want to look at is, well, what's the goal? What am I trying to achieve? So let's look at the goal as you're trying to get your parents to buy a car for you. You are, let's say, 20 years old, you just started university, and you want mommy and daddy to buy you a car. So clearly mommy and daddy, they are your audience, and you have to understand, how they operate, and that you will know because you grew up with them. So you know how to get them more or less to do what you want since you're younger. But this time you're there asking for this expensive commodity that entails a lot of responsibility, So you really have to delve into, how I gonna get my parents to buy a car for me. Now, the second thing you have to do is understand what type of parents you have, Yeah. First of all, it's very important to understand their pockets, Look for something affordable. Look for a vehicle. You're only 20, on the road, starting to drive and whatnot. Delving into being responsible, going places on your own and what have you. You have school to go to, so you're back and forth and what have you, right? So, yeah, understand your audience in that way. And then the third step here is, communicate the value, and not just the value to you, but how is it going to be valuable to your parents themselves if they buy you a car. So you look at things like, I have school, I have classes sometimes 8 o'clock in the morning, I have classes sometimes midday, sometimes they are late classes, I'm leaving school 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the night. How beneficial would it be to my parents to get me a car? Now, if they buy me a car, they don't have to miss work 8 o'clock in the morning or end up in a sort of traffic after dropping me to school 8 o'clock in the morning. I can get there on my own. They can organize, they can go to work, they can get their day started. I can get to school on my own. They don't have to worry about me. What are the very important things here as well as safety? You don't have to worry about me having to travel in these dangerous times on my own for 30-40 minutes to get to school. You don't have to worry about that at all. That's the benefit of getting you that car, right? They don't have to worry about, after having a very busy day at work, to have to come all the way to UE to have to pick me up. You have to study that, go home, rest, reflect, take your time out and your breather from how hectic the work day was, and I will get myself home. 8 o'clock, whether it's 9 o'clock in the night, I can get myself home. Just cell phone communication. Hey, mom, dad, class done, I'm on my way home, no need to worry, and you're covered. And right then and there ties in the next step, expressing the need. So the need here is time, convenience, safety, and security. For you to get back and forth, for your parents to have an ease of mind, for your parents to go about getting to do their other duties, go to work. You may have a younger sibling who not of the age to drive as yet, that your parents might have to pick up. Like even at times when you yourself can go and pick up that sibling, whether it's from school lessons, maybe they went to the movies with their friend, and you could take that strain off of your parents' back. That is in need of you having a vehicle. And the funny thing about it, we've been thinking all our lives, what tactics do I come up with, or what strategy do I come up with to get people to do what I want, to persuade an audience, whether it's a family member, whether it's a friend, whether it's a stranger, to do what it is I want. And the thing about it is, Aristotle, a Greek philosopher, came up with a rhetoric tradition. It's called logos, ethos, and pathos. That's head, cred, and heart. And those are the tactics that you use, even when you're not aware that you've been using it, because you may not have been aware of the tactics. But those are the tactics that you use for simple things like, getting your parents to buy that car, or getting that boy or that girl that you like to like you back, or getting that job that you want your boss to promote you to. So back to the scenario about you wanting your parents to buy that car. The logic in it is, you can move on your own timing. You don't have to inconvenience your parents at all to be back and forth to pick you up from school, drop you to school. You have your license, you understand? So that's the logic in that. That's where logos comes in. Ethos is the credibility. You've been borrowing your parents' car for quite some time, let's say 2 years since you got your license, because you are 20 years old, and not once have you gotten in an accident. At all times when they ask you to do something, go to the grocery for them, pick up your younger sibling from school or from movie town, you always did it. There's no pushback or anything like that when they ask you to be responsible for something. And the pathos comes with heart. There you are sympathizing with your parents, the stress that they have to go or undergo when they have to be back and forth picking up from school, back and forth dealing with your other siblings, back and forth dealing with, other things that they are responsible for. That you empathizing, that you becoming succinct with their emotions. And that's what pathos is in the rhetoric tradition. To conclude season 1, episode 1 of podcast with Cathy, I know that coffee probably needs to be refilled at Starbucks. Need to get going. So I'm just going to, reiterate what we spoke about today. We spoke about persuasion. We talk about strategic communication. We talk about how to get what you want, how to get people to do what it is you want. And we identified some steps in how to go in about doing so. So your first one was to identify your goal. What is it that you want in the first place? You need to understand your audience, whether your audience be your parents, your boss, your friend. You need to communicate value. You need to not only how does what getting what I want benefit me, how it's going to benefit my audience as well. And all in all, you need to express the need of what it is you want. So I'd like to thank you for your attention today and look forward to episode 2 of Podcast with Cathy.